The theme of my story is people and how they've come into my lives and impacted and changed it. And if it wasn't for the specific bosses, they saw something and then they invested in me in a lot of, ways to help me get promoted. So I moved up fairly quickly.
That's awesome.
And I was going to go into the hospitality business. And then we decided that we had been here for 2 to 3 years. Life was moving really slow for us compared to what it was in DC and where we were from. So we were like, let's go back home and really develop. And that's when I was like, maybe I do art, maybe
Right.
There's something I can do over there.
Right.
But again, moving back up there, the cost of living is
Crazy.
So then we were like, okay, we have to be realistic. What is it going to take?
Right.
So then that's how I started as a leasing agent for a property management company in DC.
There's one thing you said that's so valuable is it didn't matter how you got there. You guys had the same end goal in mind. And that's so important. And same in business relationships, partnerships, spouses, in so many different ways, you don't need that person. In many cases, you don't want that person to be exactly like you. Cause then it's in a business relationship, that person's not necessary then, right?
Yeah.
But if they think differently and they operate differently, have different perspectives on things, but the end goal is the same, that's what matters. And so that's really cool that you're able to identify that we both wanted to land in the exact same spot, and we were okay that we both would take different routes to get there. But as long as we end in that same financial stability, that end goal happens for this family unit, we're both happy. We're good because we want to be together. We want to be financially stable. And if we hit those two things as a family unit, we're good to go.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We knew that from the start. I was not financially savvy. Money was not talked about in my house. I don't think intentionally, really. I just think it's just culturally, education, go to school, do your best, right? Yeah. So when I graduated with all this debt, I had credit cards that they would just give them out like candy at school. And that's when Carlos was like, well, we can't continue like that. I had habits and it was very interesting because we had first gotten married, we were getting to know each other, and then we had to talk about money, right?
Yeah.
Because we were on our own and I had this debt and I wasn't financially responsible. I just didn't know.
Right.
And I was very resistant to it, I think because it was just habits. I don't think it's because I didn't want to or have the same vision, but I just thought I was like, it's not a big deal,
Right.
It took a couple years for me to really understand debt is why we want to be where we want to be.
Right.
Or how to work that, how to get rid of that.
Just speaking about my own experiences, I think when you're younger, debt isn't real. It's just not
right,
real.
Right.
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
I don't own anything.
Right.
I never really thought about it from that perspective. I already knew I would pay it. I never thought I would get away with it. I always paid my bills no matter how young I was. But I think to me, you see an unrealistic number in debt that you've never seen before actually in your bank account. And you're just this is just what everyone does. It's not real. What's the worst that
I'll
can
get a good job. It'll get paid off, not realizing that it was going to take me 10 years to do that, right? Yeah. So all of that finally, for me, eventually it came full circle. Yeah. And then we bought our first house when we were 25 in Maryland. So we moved back up to, get our careers kind of moving and really kind of focusing in, because we both worked 2 jobs here in Richmond, not needing to. We were just what are we gonna do, Yeah. And at that point too, all of my friends are already moving out, moving away from Richmond from school.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
So we transitioned back home.
And I remember Carlos talked about how you basically force appreciated him. You helped him become stronger and help him in his career that he was working towards at the time. I think you had made some suggestions for him to try some different things and move forward in his career as well.
Yeah.
But you went to work for a large property management company as a leasing agent, which then I assume, based on my experience, it opens your doors just to how so many different things work in real estate that you wouldn't otherwise see very easily or understand very easily.
Yeah. Again, it was the first company I worked for was a luxury property management company just in DC. And then I moved to the largest property management company, huge company. But again, I guess the theme of my story is people and how they've come into my lives and impacted and changed it. And if it wasn't for the specific bosses David Raleigh, Noel, shout out to them because they saw my work ethic, they saw something, and then they invested in me in a lot of, ways to help me get promoted. So I moved up fairly quickly.
That's awesome.